Hello friends, it's your girl Alina back for another video, and in this one we'll be diving into the 5 things you need to know all around this upcoming new moon in the very free-thinking and independent air sign of Aquarius. If you've been waiting for a lucky break, more easy flowing energy, there's a lot of transits around this lunation that will be helpful for you. We'll also talk about why this time and the new lunar cycle ahead will be a great opportunity for connecting with community, meeting new friends, and even engaging with inspiring and motivating modes of community service or even humanitarianism that's accessible for you specifically. But with that said, let's dive in. So first things first, what makes this lunation special? As many of y'all know, the new moon marks the beginning of a new lunar cycle, where we see that the moon is at its lowest energetic point, where there is none of the sun's light reflecting on it like we see at its peak energetic point at the full moon. And this is a very beautiful and optimal time for intention setting for the new lunar cycle ahead, where we see that just as the light builds onto the moon's surface leading up to its energetic peak at the full moon, so too can the momentum around intentions that we set at this time build. Now, while we talk a lot about getting clear on our intentions around this time, I just want to remind y'all that it's okay to not have a brand new intention or goal every single lunar phase. New moons can be great opportunities to not only set intentions, but to rest and reflect upon the previous lunar cycle, what worked and what didn't work with pre-existing intentions or goals. And it's just a cosmic reminder that we can pause, rest, and recalibrate, rather than just continuing on with the same actions, expecting different results. Especially with the transits of Venus conjunct Saturn and the Sun sextiling Jupiter, it can be a powerful time for making long-term plans and setting intentions for the future that are aligned with this Aquarius energy of innovation, progressiveness, and individuality. And this is because a lot of the planets involved in these transits are in the sign of Aquarius, but we'll get to that a little later. Now, when we specifically see a new moon in the sign of Aquarius, the energy of Aquarius is very heightened. So you may feel a stronger urge to break free from any sort of status quo, or you might feel called to think outside of the box. So this can be a really good time to consider looking at old ways of thinking and how you can approach it from a more progressive and sometimes uncomfortable perspective that you know is just a little outside of your comfort zone. Now, Aquarius is also associated with community and collective consciousness, which means that this new moon can be a good time for focusing on how you can contribute to your community and make a positive impact in the world. And this is because Aquarius is an air sign, which is associated with intellectualism and forward-thinking ideas. It's also ruled by Uranus, the planet of change and revolution. Next up, let's talk some transits surrounding this lunation. First up, we have to extend a very special happy birthday to all of our Aquarius friends as we see the sun enters the sign of Aquarius, marking the Aquarius season on January 20th. Now, Aquarius season offers us energetic support within the realms of humanitarianism, detachment, reform, and rebellion. This season can be a great time for finding new friends, your community, or even your chosen family, as it's very supportive for leaning into our unique gifts and finding ways to support the collective. And by the way, I'm very excited for this lunation's collective perspective. Up next, for anyone looking for more stability or clarity around your romantic or financial relationship, this Venus conjunct Saturn transit happening at the time of this new moon can be of help. So during a Venus conjunct Saturn transit in Aquarius, you may experience more heightened callings for practicality and discipline in your relationships and financial dealings. Now, this is because we see Venus, the planet of love and relationships, having this very collaborative and mutually supportive transit with Saturn, the planet of responsibility, order, and maturity. So they're kind of working together in conjunction. So this transit can bring a strong sense of responsibility and commitment while making it a good time to solidify relationships or make any sort of long-term goal planning relative to our finances. But the caveat here is that when we see a transit like this, where we feel called to solidify things in our relationship, maybe build structure around the dynamics of friendships, collaborative spaces relative to work in our community, or in our deeper relationships, that can sometimes be based off of feeling inspired to do so, Alternatively, it can be based off of feeling like you really need to do it because a problem has presented itself. So with that said, overall, finding a balance between the Aquarian energy of innovation and progressiveness while also being mindful of Saturn's influences of responsibility, stability, and hard work will be very helpful, as both of these planets, Venus and Saturn, will both be in the sign of Aquarius. All right, next up, for anyone waiting for a lucky time to maybe put yourself out there, set an intention, or simply just make a wish, we see that the Sun and Moon will be sextiling Jupiter at the time of this new moon, which will offer us more of an easy flowing energy in terms of our pursuits. So let's first start with the Sun and Jupiter. So this type of transit is one that's often seen to bring really good luck and opportunities. And that's mainly because we see that the Sun, our central star that impacts our sense of self, our individuality, sometimes our ego, having this easy flowing energy with Jupiter, the planet of optimism, expansion, and yes, luck. So this can be a time when things can tend to come a little bit easier, where we may feel a little extra confident and even optimistic. It's also a good time for networking, making connections, as well as just taking on new challenges. Now, the Moon sextiling Jupiter is a relatively mild and positive aspect. It can often bring us a sense of emotional well-being, optimism, and generosity. So generally, this is a good time for socializing, and you may even find yourself feeling more open and in a more outgoing mood. So overall, this transit can be a very positive time for all of us. And my tip for you would be to keep your eyes open for opportunities and just take advantage of any sort of positive energy that you might notice is kind of flowing your way. And by the way, if you've resonated with this video at all and you're enjoying it, then be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn the notification bell on, because I make regular astrology readings and meditations for the full and new moon every month. So next up, let's talk about ways to align with this energy. So overall, this lunation can be a powerful time for getting clear on our goals, thinking outside of the box, and just taking chances, specifically with our skill sets. Now, this is because we see these transits all coming together to really highlight where we can approach things from a more brave and innovative perspective. Now, with that said, here are some general astrology tips for aligning with this energy. One is embracing this Aquarius energy of innovation and progressiveness by thinking about how you can bring unique ideas to your projects or relationships. Number two, with the Venus-Saturn conjunction, it can bring sort of a sense of responsibility and commitment. So thinking about how you can solidify any sort of relationships or long-term plans can also be helpful. And number three, with the Saturn sextiling happening, it can bring in a lot of good energy and luck like we talked about. So it can be helpful to stay open to any sort of opportunities that might present themselves and seize the day. Take advantage of that energy if you notice it coming to you. Now, in terms of a new moon ritual and things that would align with this energy, I want to start by reminding you that you don't need to necessarily focus on all of the things that I'm going to list. Just listen to your intuition and maybe jot down anything that might resonate with you relative to your life right now. So first up, focusing on solidifying relationships and making them more stable and secure can be super helpful. Another intention that can be set during this new moon can be being open to new opportunities and taking risks, and what that looks like for you. Next can be embracing innovative and progressive ideas relative to your endeavors, really leaning into that saying of you get the same results if you have the same actions. I know I'm butchering it, but really processing that concept. With this Aquarius lunation, it will really help us with thinking outside of the box relative to that sort of intention. All right, it is now time for collective perspective. So this is a new segment that I've added to my lunation readings, where I basically just share a community service or humanitarian sort of project that is aligned with this lunation's transits. So I've added this segment mainly because, I don't know, I just noticed that there was a lot of the newer astrology and spirituality culture just being really focused on the self and not as much on, you guessed it, the collective perspective. So with that said, given the transits of Venus conjunct Saturn and the Sun sextiling Jupiter in the sign of Aquarius, a community service or humanitarian activity that would be well aligned with this energy would be volunteering for an organization focused on promoting social change and innovation. So one example would be for volunteering for a local grassroots organization that might focus on promoting progressive causes. So things like civil rights, environmental sustainability, or affordable housing. Now, these kinds of organizations often rely heavily on volunteers to help their mission. So a few sites that can help to connect you with some local organizations might include Volunteer Match, Catchfire, or Idealist. And I'll go ahead and leave some links for those organizations in the description box below. I hope that these suggestions maybe spark some ideas. So go ahead and feel free to leave any other ideas that come to mind in the comment section below. All right, next up, let's get into these Aquarius new moon journal prompts. If you have your Auralign Astrology Planner for 2023, you can go ahead and flip on over to the dedicated new moon writing section to write all of this out, or you can grab a notebook. And I'm gonna go ahead and read these prompts and leave them in the description box for you to copy and paste or read back later. Are there any potential opportunities that have presented themselves to you recently, and how can you take advantage of the moment? How can you align your actions with your values to support your community? And have you tried that in the past? What does it look like for you to bring a sense of responsibility and commitment to your relationships or goals? And finally, moving into this new lunar cycle, do you have any new intentions or goals? These goals can be new or existing and aligned with rest, personal or professional endeavors. All right, y'all, before I go, I wanted to mention that I will likely not be releasing a new moon meditation for this new moon. I'm trying a new sort of structure to video releases where I want to create more videos where I'm talking to y'all, where I'm talking about different aspects of astrology. So I actually have a video that I plan to put out likely next week, which I'm really excited about. And I don't know what the title will be yet, but it's going to be focused on what your Mars placement is and what sign it's in and how that impacts your motivation. So you'll be able to hit the timestamp for whatever sign that Mars is in, and I will give you a personalized reading for focus and productivity methods relative to what sign that Mars is in for you. I'm really excited about it, and if you are too, be sure to hit the notification bell. That way you can be the first to watch it, because when I make videos that are kind of outside of what I normally post, the YouTube algorithm hates it. It does not support it. It's like an immune system attacking a brand new cell or something. And so I would just really appreciate just if you hit the notification bell and watch it when it comes out, because I know you'll like it. I'm just really excited about it. And if you made it to the end, be sure to comment 3 thought cloud emojis, because we're very introspective and resting during this Aquarius new moon. And if you don't want to write that, I'd love to hear your feedback on the collective perspective or on any of these writing prompts, like what might have come up for you. And finally, as always, y'all know what I'm going to say. If you are somebody who enjoys aligning your schedule in life with the cosmos and the seasons, then be sure to check out the Auralign Astrology Planner. It's my creation, and it includes dedicated full and new moon ritual pages, along with notifications for all of the top astrological events of the year, dedicated seasonal wellness guides, writing prompts, and just so much more. So if that interests you, be sure to click the link in the bio or hit the QR code, scan it to go ahead and check out the site and get yours today. And with all of that said, I will leave you with my favorite quote, and that is, be gentle with yourself, because life is about the journey, not the destination. All right, peace, friends.